ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनोभिः व्यसेम देवहितै यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो हरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति न बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ अग्नेनय सुपताराये अस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्मज्जुहुराणमेनो भो इष्टां ते नम मुक्तिं विदेम ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ ब्रह्मन् ब्राह्मणो ब्रह्मवर्चसी जायताम् आराष्ट्रे राजन्यः शूरैषभ्योति व्याधि महारथो जायताम् दोग्ध्रीं धेनुर्वोढा नड्वान् आसु सप्तिः पुरन्धित्योषा जिष्णो रतेष्ठाः सवेयो युवा अस्य यजमानस्य वीरो जायताम् निकामे निकामेन पर्जन्यो न वर्षतु फलवत्यो न वोषधयः पच्यन्तां योगक्षेमो न कल्पेताम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणचक्षुः स्तोत्रमतो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वो ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोतु अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम नमस्ते.
Yeah, beautiful. We are just sitting in the Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad session. It is Aranyaka Upanishad, and among Aranyaka's Upanishads, this is a Bruhat, belonging to Shukla Veda. Actually, in Shukla Veda, we have got popularly known as the Isavasya Upanishad, then as a portion of the Satapada Brahmanam, this Aranyaka Upanishad, and then we have got other Upanishads. We have got their Sankalpa Upanishads and Shiva Sankalpa Upanishad, 6 mantras, in the 36th or 34th chapter of the Shukla Veda Madhyantana recensions. And our Buddhapalli Raghava has explained all those 6 mantras, and the same appeared in the Vedanasarit, and again it is appearing. So as a result, what is that? Tanme Manasya Sankalpamastu is one Upanishad. What is the target of Upanishad? The Upanishad must always aim at giving us Shiva Sankalpa, and the Shiva Sankalpa must be a Shanti Sankalpa, and that Shanti Sankalpa must be giving you the consummation or the moksha. In other words, also, you know, Paramatma, as we understand from Purusha Suktam, God, Mahavishnu or Narayana or Parabrahma is not born again. He will not be born, but he will make others to be born. And when he makes others to be born, it is the Atma of his own, Paramatma, being divided into all beings, and then therefore everybody is a godly, everybody is divine. But it is up to the persons to realize the divinity in him, the serenity in him, the historicity in him, and the amount of behavioral excellence or etiquette, etc. All these activities which are called punya. So it is said punya krut punyamastute, papa krut papamastute, subha krut subhamastute, papa krut ashubha krut ashubhamastute. Nothing is a very simple formula. Therefore, when there is a dialogue between Janaka Maharshi and then Vajnavalkya, Actually, as we understand, Yajnavalkya is a repository of great knowledge. He's a reservoir of knowledge. And such person, we should be able to tap them appropriately and get the knowledge elicited for us, enumerated for us. Because Mahatmas don't unnecessarily volunteer to talk, that they will be always reserved, and unless there's some question and quest or inquiry is made, then only they start talking. You look at it, for example, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is only a car driver. And he just heard the orders of Arjuna, take me to the war ground. Yes, brought. After some time, looking at the army started, opposite army starting the war and all that, then he said, Krishna, park my car in between the two arrays of army. I can decide with whom I should choose to fight, because I cannot waste my time and Ayodhas. So I have to choose. Then in that context, Krishna gave a chance, and then he chose, and ultimately he melted down into sorrow, grief, and all that. So, and whatever it is, so then Krishna began talking. As we know that, Asocyan Vasocyastvam Pragnavadamsya Vashase. What a stupid you are. You are talking as though you are a well-read person, all knowledge, you have got it. No, there are things to be. Sochya and asocya is there. What is asocya? You need not sochya at all. Because the idea is that everybody born must leave the earth. Nobody is permanent. Prithivim tyajet. See, Prithivim tyajet is that. And while talking about it, then when Agnihotra was going on, and Yajnavalkya Maharshi was so tempted, looking at the Janaka's attitude and behavior and observances and all that, then there was a discussion. What is Jyoti? Here, in the Munikanda of the Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad, it is up to the extent of recognizing the Jyoti, the eternal light, or the splendor that everybody carries in him. So, Kim Jyoti is an interesting question. What is Jyoti? And then the answer was Purusha Eva Jyoti. The man himself is the light, and man himself is the splendor. But only thing is, the man has got to the person has got to realize that he is really noble, he is great, and he is splendor, he is radiance, he is all that. Because the eminence is but something like the radiance that anybody emits. So that's why, and who Purusha Eva Jyoti. Kim Katham Purusha Eva Jyoti. Because there are so many Jyotis outside you, and one by one was listed. And again, there comes to a stage, well, there in that Yajnavalkya, soham bhagavate sahasram dadami urdhvam nimokshayiva bruhiti. Sava esha etasmin swapne ratva charitva drishtva eva punyam cha papam cha punah pratinyayam pratiyonya dravati. Buddhantayaiva saha yattatra kinchit pasyati वश्यच्य आनन्दागतः तेन भवति असङ्गोहेयं पुरुषः इत्येवमे वैतत् याज्ञवल्क्या सोऽहं भगवते सहस्रं ददामि इति ऊर्ध्वं विमोक्षायैव ब्रूहीति. So, ultimately, all our Upanishads are giving us scope and means through which we are able to get vimoksha. Moksha we are always getting temporarily. But moksha temporary is no good. But we must have Vishesha moksha. And we must want extraordinary relief from the bondages. Adrinda vimokshaya bruhi. Please teach me what is that. Then meanwhile, we have also noted that there is the man being linked with the other world with the Sandhya. Sandhyam Trutiyam Swapnasthanam Tasmin Sandhye Sthane Tishtan Ete Ubhe Sthane Pusyati. See, that is the thesis of Yajnavalkya pointing out to Janaka Maharaja that if you go to bed, you know to go to bed. But once the sleep takes over you, you don't know what happens to you. And only the physical members of the body will go to rest. But the mind, like clock, will not go to rest. Because the clock next to your bed will be keeping on working whole night too. The waves in the ocean too keep on, whether you are there, witness the waves of the ocean or flow of river, even the darkness, it goes on. Generally, when you go to enjoy the seaside and look at, well, as long as the daylight is there, when night falls, you will retire. You will not stay there. You are afraid to stay on the shore. So, like that, when the swapna is the intermediary state that everybody must go ahead. Nobody can say, oh, I don't get dreams. I say, I sleep well. You don't know. And sleep, Sandhya Kala is most important. Without Sandhya, you will not get it. Prata Sandhya, Madhyanika Sandhya, and Sayam Sandhya. So when once you get into that Sandhya, and then you will know the pros and cons, or you will be able to connect it to the present world and also the other world, super world. So you are just experiencing. That's why yatha kramoyam paralokasthane bhavate tamakrama ma akramya ubhayan papmana anandagumscharati. Because our Govindaraj has come, it must be actually Upanishad knowledge will be a clean slate. As long as we are in touch with the Muni and Upanishad, we feel really active, live. But the moment days go by, then the Upanishadic knowledge gets erased in us. But for some people, it will not. That will be a treasure, and it is a ladder, and making that particular ladder steps as a means to climb up the top of the house or top of the goals. Like that, here also, because we have done Aitariya Upanishad, Kataka Upanishad, Isavasya Upanishad, and Svetaswara Upanishad. Sivalingaya, do you remember all of them? No. Clean slate. But when we again go to the text and or revise it, then you come to know, oh, this is what. Because all Upanishads talk about the Atma business. Because even including Bhagavad Gita, every Vedantic text will talk about it. Balanam hitabodhaya. Balanam hitabodhaya. It's only to tell you good. The Atma Sangraha, Atma Sanyamana, Atma Vijnana, Atma, all these things, Swatma Tattvam, all these things are being taught to us. Because Atma Vai, so Atma Vai Putraha, Atma, it's all everywhere. It is the Atma that is working. And this Atma, when you get into the Sandhya, when you go into the Paralokasthanam, what would be the Bhavati Tama Akramya Ubhayan Papmana Anandagumscha Pasyati. So you are able to have the balance look of the papam and punyam, because now we don't remember, we don't want papam, we want only punyam. That's what long back Vyasa Maharshi told in Mahabharata. Punyasya phalamichanti, punyam nechanti manavaha, na papa phalamichanti, papam kurvanti yatnataha. Everybody wants to enjoy or reap the fruits of the punyam, but nobody wants to do punyam. Punyam nechanti. ಈ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಪ್ಪ, ಈ ಡೊನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಾ, ಇದು ಮಾಡು. nechanti. Oh, I have no time, I'm busy, I got to go to office. Hey, temple baro, just peep in and get out of there. Oh, impossible. Though I go through the temple, but I cannot get inside the temple. But this is how the present mundane activities will try to tempt you to get away from that. Adrinda, Papa and Punya, Ananda, Papa and Ananda. Punya is Ananda. You see, when we smile, our Punyam is operating. When we cry, when we cut a sad face, our Papam is operating. So, yi punya pape dve eva manushyam anutishtanti. Therefore, here it says that prasapidasya lokasya sarvavarto matramapadaya, page number 87. I am reading the first 6th or 7th line. Jyotisha prasvapati atrayam purusha swayam jyotir bhavati. Now we have to determine which is exactly the place where Purusha Jyoti will be shining. In Purusha Suktam, you observe two things, Purusha and Purusha. Purusha is common, man. Purusha is that Paramatma. So Purusha, that distinction is there. And again, if for even Amamaru also, Saundarlahari, Shankaracharya tells us that Shivayivati bhavena bipurushe. Amma, నీకు ఫార్మ్ అంటూ లేదు, ఏమీ లేదు నీకు. You are really Sachidananda Swarupini, and you are absolutely not known for any forum. But all people born on the land have got forum. Only when there is a forum, they are recognized and they are actively contact and converse. But if there is no forum, people forget it. That's exactly what we say, out of sight, out of mind. When you are not before the sight, they forget you instantaneously. Oh, how new ಅವಾಗ ಯಾವಾಗಲೋ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Oh, ಅಂತ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. That's exactly what Krishna also catches in Ascharyavat pasyate kaschidinam Ascharyavat srunoti anyadenam. The entire world is filled with Ascharya. The Atma is an Ascharya Janaka. So the Atma ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಂಡರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆತ್ಮ ನೋಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಆತ್ಮಬುದ್ಧಿ ಸುಖಂ ಚೈವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಗುರು ಬುದ್ಧಿರ್ ವಿಶೇಷತಃ. ಈ ಆತ್ಮದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಇದೆ. But it is all, but what is that Atma? That Atma is Jyoti. Jyotiratma, Aditya Jyoti. So Jyotiratma, Jyotiraditya. What is Jyoti? Light, luster, splendor. And in the dream, we are told what happens when you have seen car, you have gone in car, you have seen people, you have seen buildings, when you are wakeful. But when you go to sleep, when you get into the arena of dream, it's empty. And there, what you do, you create yourself. Natatra rathaha, naratha yogaha, napantanaha bhavati. Rathan, ratha yogan, pataha srujate. So in the dream world, what is not there, you create. And what
Hearty congratulations, Dampati visit to the Shilpi and Shriram discussion, whatever, and Boganas. Oh, avale phone panna.
So here we see that what is not there in dream, that you imagine and create in the dream, and you start experiencing differences. That's exactly what would happen in the creation, to start the creation by Narayana. We say Agre Salilavasa. At first there was full water. Apamapamapasarvaha asmadito mutaha. So apamapamapasarvaha, with which the Saitriyaranyaka begins. That Prathama Prashna, apamapamapasarva, sarvaha apaha, everywhere. Water, 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 water. Then here water, there water, everywhere water. Looking at the water placement all over the globe, then Narayana floating on the water thought, is a Brahma. Ayo, idagum sujeyamiti, let me create the world. So that's exactly what you see in the Aitareya Upanishad. The Aitareya Upanishad of Veda gives you how that Paramatma, which was there earlier than any other Atma or any other being, looking at the vacuum and but water all over, he started creation and he began the creation. Then he created the man and the male, female, etc. So in Aitareya Upanishad, we got all that. Here also, but In Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad, because in Sukla Veda, the step is different. Because all Upanishads, though have got common theme or thread, but they have different beads being kept. Therefore, Upanishad Mala, Upasakaha ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಈ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಮಾಲಾ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಶೃಂಗೇರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನವರತ್ನ ಮಾಲಾ ಅದು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಜಪ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಆಲ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬೀಡ್ಸ್ have been put and make the Japamala very colorful and all that. Because it has got its own power of ಎಮಿನೆನ್ಸ್. ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ರಥಯೋಗಾನ್, he will create the roads, there will be water. And one more important point is, in the dream status, no dangers are there. Suswapna is my main thing. And if at all by chance, Duswapna, you have to get rid of, that will not be remembered, that will not happen. That's why we make a prayer to Surya Bhagavan. Adhyano deva savitaha ಪ್ರಜಾವತ್ಸಾವಿ ಸೌಭಗಂ ದುಸ್ವಪ್ನಿಯಗಂ ಪರಾಸುವ ಯದ್ಭದ್ರಂ ತನ್ನ ಆಸುವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಸವಿತೃದೇವತಾ ಯಾವುದು ನನಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಮೋಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ನನಗೆ ಕೊಡು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕನ್ಜೀನಿಯಲ್ ಆರ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಆರ್ awesomeness to us, that you make to disappear to me. So this kind of options are being given to Surya Bhagavan, because Surya is the only one God who can make duswapnas not function. So Surya duswapnanasanaha antare. And again in Vishnu Sahasranamam, you have got also compliment for Vishnu. One of the names is that he will be the destroyer of the bad dreams. ಅದರಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ತತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಲಾಫ್, ಪೀಪಲ್ ಶೌಟ್, ಪೀಪಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಮ್. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಏನೇ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀಯಾ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಏನು ನಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದಿ ಲಾಫ್ಟರ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಮೈಲಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ವೈಲ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್ not connected to the present world. For example, immediately you can see a baby just born in the cradle and will smile. And we are all mad people. Hey, magu nagta ide, one nodri enu ellarnu karite ನಾವು. The magu is not smiling, but it is just having some kind of pleasant experience brought from the past. See, actually a baby will be live with the past for 3 months. And ಆ 3 ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ the baby is not aware of anything else but only hunger. Even you don't give water also, no thirst at all. The milk that it takes from the mother, that itself is everything for it. Therefore, a 3 months baby will be having its own dukkha, sukha, contacts, santosha, ella. That's exactly mudaha pramudaha sujate. Not only that, you will make pushkarinis also, rivers also, and wonderful buildings also. All these things are being created in the Swapna Prapancham. So, ಈ ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇರತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ವಪ್ನೇನ ಶಾರೀರಂ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಹತ್ಯ ಅಸುಪ್ತಃ ಸುಪ್ತಾನ್ ಅಭಿಚಾಕಸೀತಿ ಶುಕ್ರಮಾದಾಯ ಪುನರೈತಿ ಸ್ಥಾನಗುಂ ಹಿರಣ್ಮಯ ಪುರುಷಃ Eka Hamsaha. So the sequence is being beautifully described. Because I have covered all this portion earlier, I am trying to memorize and make the ongoing knowledge from now on to be connected. So, Swapnantya Ucchav Vachav Amiyamanaha Rupani Devaha Kurute. So the rupas are being created to us. Again, after completion of the swapna. But when sleep, he will be aware of the both worlds. upon the earth and upon the. So when you, that's why modavanaha utevavi ubhayan pasyan आरामम अस्य पश्यन्ति न तं पश्यति कश्चनेति. So vimokshaya bruhiti. So all that we want is जागृत देशे एवस्य एष ज्ञानिधिः एव जाग्रत् पश्यति तानि सुप्त इति अत्रायं पुरुषः स्वयं ज्योतिर्भवति. So Jagrata, whatever that he is able to see through while being Jagrata Avastha, many times the same will appear when you go to sleep and in the dream also. That's why ದೊಡ್ಡವರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ, before you go to bed, you read some noble literature, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Ramayana, Bhagavata, etc. Or see some noble sites and go to sleep so that your sleep will not have a hindrance and disturbance. But wild ಆಗಿರುವ crime movie ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಲಗಿದ್ರೆ your sleep will not be, your dream will not be encouraging. ಅದರಿಂದ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಊರ್ಧ್ವಂ ವಿಮೋಕ್ಷಾಯ ಬ್ರೂಹಿ ಇತಿ. And moreover, Yajnavalkya Maharshi is such a great Vedic scholar, has got such a fund of knowledge of past presented in our Vedas, that whenever occasion comes up, they will just bring that as a part of quotation. So ಆ ಕೊಟೇಶನ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇತಿ ಶಬ್ದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. But in respect of Shankaracharya, in his Bhashyam, he is very clever in sense that he will not bring the names of all people, but he will bring the opinion of the earlier scholars in his own convincing words and proceed in his own line of argument. ಅದು ಶಂಕರರ ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಕತೆ. Similarly, this is all Upanishadic technology, that iti is enough to say that it is not something original opinion by the Upanishadkara, rather Maharshi, but he is trying to glue the past knowledge with the present line of argument and conclusions. ಅದರಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರ ಸಹಸ್ರಂ ದದಾಮೀತಿ ಉತ ಊರ್ಧ್ವಂ ವಿಮೋಕ್ಷಾಯ ಬ್ರೂಹಿ ಇತಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ದಿ 88th page and reading the some 10th line or so after sentence. Now I am reading. Sava esha etasmin samprasade ratva charitva drustvaiva. ಶಿವಲಿಂಗಯ್ಯ ಓದ್ತಿ ಏನಪ್ಪ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ?
तस्मिन् सम्प्रसादे रत्वा चरित्वा दृष्ट्वैव पुण्यं च पापं च पुनः प्रतिन्यायं प्रतियोन्या द्रवति स्वप्नान्तायैव स यत्र किञ्चित् पश्यत्यनन्वागतस्तेन भवन्त्यसङ्घो ययं पुरुष इत्येवमेवैतद्याज्ञवल्क्य सोऽहं भगवते सहस्रं ददाम्यत ऊर्ध्वं विमोक्षायैव ब्रूहीति.
Yeah, beautiful. See, Janaka Maharaja is always interested to get the relief, moksham. And whatever that discussion or gadgets that have been supplied by the munis that come to meet him, that only he will keep a pocket. But if there is what to be a diversion in the discussion, he is not interested much. So this is the case even in Ashtavakra Gita. Nowadays, Ashtavakra Gita is figuring in the YouTube. You can see, and we are almost Ashtavakra Gita is Avadhuta Maharshi, but he has got 8 bends. When he made that Ashtavakra Gita narrated to Janaka Maharaja, after having really got the release of his father who was imprisoned because his father lost battle, literary battle in the open court of Janaka Maharaja. As a part of condition, the person who loses the battle of literary battle must be kept in jail. So the son Ashtavakra, who has been cursed by that by his own father, And he came, argued with Janaka Maharaja and got the release of his father. Looking at the scholarship of the Sashtavakra Maharshi, then Janaka wanted to know more about it, and therefore Janaka would ask in 20 chapters, the Ashtavakra Gita, the entire quest to get to Vimoksha. Andre Vimoksha, Andre we should not come back, no return ticket. Yatra gatva na punaravrittihi tadaiva moksham or nirvanam. Yatra gatva, where going with, where going, you will not have a chance to come back at all. When you go to hell, you have to come back. Any loka that you go to, all the lokas you have to return. But when you go to Brahma loka, when you are so much punyavan, then you need not return at all. That's why we always make a prayer, Mama samasta pitrunam shaswata Brahma loka vaptirastu. ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೃಷ್ಣ 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 ಆರ್ ವಿಷ್ಣು 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 ಅಂತ 3 ಸಲ ವಿಷ್ಣು ಸ್ಮರಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಸ್ಮರಣ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಂಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಈ ರೆಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಏತಸ್ಮಿನ್ ಸಂಪ್ರಸಾದೇ, ಈ ಸಂಪ್ರಸಾದದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನು, ರತ್ವಾ ಚರಿತ್ವಾ ದೃಷ್ಟ್ವಾ ಪುಣ್ಯಂ ಚ ಪಾಪಂ ಚ. ಸೊ he would be going through these 3 lines of enjoyment. One, he will be able to enjoy that. He will be able to, charitva means he will be able to experience it. And he will be able to visualize that. So these 3 things, whenever we go to park, whenever we go to every visiting place, there we are always thinking, experience, hey, gali ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. You go to Nilagiri mountains, for example. When you go to Nilagiri mountains, your experience is different. Ratva, Ramana is there, you enjoy it. Then you will be able to charitva, you will move all places wherever you look beautiful and wherever you want to experience. You sit on the benches. So that's all form of the charana. That is movement. You make movement to all places of joy and enjoyment. Adadmele drishtva dooradalli, because there are the expanse is so great that you cannot have a complete survey of all that, so you will just look at it. For example, when you go to Lal Bagh or Kabban Park in Bengaluru, not now, it was a large area, 484 acres of land, garden. 484 acres, ನೀವು ತಿರುಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ imagine how it will be like. So ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, you are able to ದೃಷ್ಟ್ವಾ and punyam papam cha punaha pratinyayam pratiyonya dravati. ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಯೋನಿಗಳು ಯಾವ ಬರ್ತ್ ತಗೊಂತೀರೋ ಆಯಾ ಬರ್ತ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯಾ ಪುಣ್ಯಗಳ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜು ರೇಷಿಯೋ ವಿಲ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಫ್ಲೋಯಿಂಗ್. ಅದರಿಂದ ವಿ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಪುಣ್ಯ ಪಾಪಾಸ್, ವಿ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ನವಗ್ರಹಸ್. All astrologers, when they compute horoscope, they will say Janakale Sukradasha Sesham, Janakale Rahudasha Sesham anta ಆ ಶೇಷ ದಶವನ್ನು ಪತ್ತೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಜನ್ಮದ ಜನ್ಮಕ್ಕೂ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಾತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂರ್ವಜನ್ಮವನ್ನು ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, if you are good astrologer, if you study your 5th house, making it as a lagna, you will come to know your Purvajanma. If you study your 7th house, you will come to know about your wife. If you study about your 10th house, you will get knowledge about your profession, your job, and your variations. So, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದನ್ನು ಜಾತಕ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಜ ಅಂದರೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರುವ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಶೀಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಆ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಶೀಟಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲಾಟಿಂಗ್ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆಯೋ ಗೊತ್ತು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಎ ಗುಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್. ಹಂಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರತಿಯೋನ್ಯಾದ್ರವತಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ವಪ್ನಾಯ ಏವ ಯತ್ರ ಕಿಂಚಿತ್ ಪಶ್ಯತಿ ಅನನ್ವಾಗತಸ್ತೇನ ಭವತಿ ಅಸಂಗೋಖ್ಯಂ ಪುರುಷಃ ಇತಿ ಏವಮೇವೈವ ತಜ್ಞಾಜ್ಞವಲ್ಕ್ಯ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್. ಸೋಹಂ ಭಗವತೆ ಸಹಸ್ರಂ ದದಾಮಿ ಅತ ಊರ್ಧ್ವಂ ವಿಮೋಕ್ಷಾಯೈವ ಬ್ರೂಹಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ದಿ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ levels. Enquiry andre they will not stop by putting one question. You keep on putting questions one by one to elicit a good answer, complete answer from you. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಮೇಲ್ ಏನು, ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಏನು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ನೇಮ್ ಏನು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪನ ಹೆಸರೇನು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಎಂಕ್ವೈರಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೆಡ್ ಪಶ್ಯತ್ ಅನಾಗತಸ್ತೇನ ತದ್ಯಾಜ್ಞವಲ್ಕ್ಯ ಸೋಹಂ ಭಗವತೆ ಸಹಸ್ರಂ ದದಾಮಿ ಬಟ್ ವಿಮೋಕ್ಷಾಯ ಏವ ಬ್ರೂಹಿ. So whatever you are talking to me, we do not know whether these maharshis and rishis have got moksham, because ಮೋಕ್ಷವನ್ನು ಅನುಭವ ಮಾಡುವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬಂದು ನನ್ನ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಸತ್ತೋಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ. ನೋ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೈಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಡೆತ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ, Ramana Maharshi in ashramam there is a placard or board kept up that Ramana Maharshi died and came back and give the experience of the death experience. You know, if you go to Ramana ashramam in ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ you will see that board. I think when I went, I saw Kendra reading, and so could know, because now ಬದುಕಿರುವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾನ್ಷಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, we know what is what. But when once you leave the body, what would happen to your soul, to your own antaratma? That's why in Mahanarayana Upanishad, there is a clue that Atma me sudhyantam, Antaratma me sudhyantam, Bhutatma me sudhyantam. Ultimately, Paramatma me sudhyantam, Jyotiraham Viraja Vipapma Bhuya Sadgum Swaha. Shabdasparsa Rupa Rasagandha me sudhyantam, Jyotiraham. So similarly, Twak Charmapagam Sarudhiramajja Medha Snayavosthini me sudhyantam, Jyotiraham Viraja Vipapma Bhuya Sadgum Swaha. So look at it. That's what Vimokshatmanaha Vimokshaya I Bruhi iti. ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ it is not only the quest of Janaka Maharaja, it is the quest and inquiry and also target that everybody born on the land must run through. See, if you build more and more number of houses, you are not peaceful. You have one house is okay, second house is okay, and third, fourth, fifth, 100 houses. What is the use? You are increasing your worry, and you cannot be happier. Therefore, it is said that hitam mitam cha bhagyam. See, whatever bhagya one must have must be hitavagirbeku, mitavagirbeku. Then you will think of the spiritual world. Illa, if you have got so many encumbrances around, then you will not be peaceful at all. That's why whenever you want to register your property to someone else, the buyer will ask, I want encumbrance certificate. A non-encumbrance certificate produce ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾರ್ ಆಫೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Because there will be so many people ready to claim your property, but you should tell that it is free from being claimed by anybody. Antara illi Yajnavalkya is telling, I want that Vimokshaya eva bruhi anta. Next ಓದಪ್ಪ. ಸವಾ ಏಷ ಏತಸ್ಮಿನ್ ಸ್ವಪ್ನೆ.
ಸವಾ ಏಷ ಏತಸ್ಮಿನ್ ಸ್ವಪ್ನೆ ರತ್ವಾ ಚರಿತ್ವಾ ದೃಷ್ಟ್ವೈ ಪುಣ್ಯಂಚ ಪಾಪಂಚ ಪುನಃ ಪ್ರತಿನ್ಯಾಯಂ ಪ್ರತಿಯೋನ್ಯಾ ದ್ರವತಿ ಬದ್ಧಾಂತಾಯೈವ ಸ ಯತ್ರತ್ರ ಕಿಂಚಿತ್ ಪಶ್ಯತ್ ಯನನ್ವಾಗತಸ್ತೇನ ಭವಂತ್ಯ ಸಂಘೋ ಯಯ ಪುರುಷ ಇತ್ಯೇವಮೇವೈತದ್ಯಾಜ್ಞವಲ್ಕ್ಯ ಸೋಹಂ ಭಗವತೆ ಸಹಸ್ರಂ ದದಾಮ್ಯತ ಊರ್ಧ್ವಂ ವಿಮೋಕ್ಷಾಯೈವ ಬ್ರೂಯಿತಿ.
Beautiful. See, it is being repeated. ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ we don't stop with one question, or when you don't get sufficient answer for that, you will not stop the question. So That's exactly what in Vishnu Sahasranamam. See, Sutva Dharmanaseshena Pavanani cha Sarvasaha Yudhishthiraha Shantanavam Punarevabhyabhashata. Shantanavam Punarevabhyabhashata. So, Shantanava is the original name of Bhishmacharya, who is the son of Shantanu Maharaja. Shantanu Maharaja is not ordinary, but he was also ridden by the circumstances. He became enamored by the beauty of that Satyavati Devi, and he wanted her to marry. But her father put a condition that if you want to marry my daughter, you must agree for a condition that the son born through my Satyavati, my daughter, he must be made the emperor. And he must only bequeath your throne. And at that time, okay, Shantanu said, okay. But the circumstances so arose that ultimately Shantanu Kumara, Shantanava, has to make a promise that he will not marry and he will not claim the throne. But so ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ವಿಮೋಕ್ಷಾಯ ಬ್ರೂಹೀತಿ, ನಾನು ಏನೇನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಅಗೇನ್. ಏತಸ್ಮಿನ್ ಸ್ವಪ್ನೇ ರತ್ವಾ, ಇಂತಹ ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ರತ್ವಾ, ಆಮೇಲೇನು ಚರಿತ್ವಾ ದೃಷ್ಟ್ವಾ ಪುಣ್ಯಂ ಚ ಪಾಪಂ ಚ ಪುನಃ ಪ್ರತಿನ್ಯಾಯಂ ಪ್ರತಿಯೋನ್ಯಾ ದ್ರವತಿ. ಈ ಪ್ರತಿನ್ಯಾಯಂ ಅನ್ನೋದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ತೈತ್ತರೀಯ ಆರಣ್ಯಕ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ವೇದ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರಿಪೀಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಐಡಿಯಾ. ಗೋವಿಂದರಾಜ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ತೇ ಶರೀರಾ ಪ್ರಪದ್ಯಂತೆ ಯಥಾ ಪುಣ್ಯಸ್ಯ ಕರ್ಮಣಃ ಅಪಾಣ್ಯಪಾದಕೇಶಾಸಃ ತತ್ರ ತೇ ಯೋ ನಿಜಾ ಜನಾಃ ಕೃತ್ವಾ ಪುನರ್ಮೃತ್ಯುಮಾಪದ್ಯಂತೆ ಅದ್ಯಮಾನಾಃ ಸ್ವಕರ್ಮಭಿಃ ಆಶಾದಿಕಾಃ ಕ್ರಿಮಯೈವ ತದಃ ಪೂಯಂತೆ ವಾಸವೈಃ ಅಪೈತಂ ಮೃತ್ಯುಂ. ನೋಡಿದಿರಾ ಗೋವಿಂದರಾಜ್ ಅವರೇ, ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ? ಸೊ ತೈತ್ತರೀಯ ಆರಣ್ಯಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೋ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇನ್ ಅ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ತೈತ್ತರೀಯ ಆರಣ್ಯಕ ಈಸ್ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಡೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅಸೆಸ್. ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಯಜುರ್ವೇದ ಇಸ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ and Shukla Yajurveda is later, and Shukla Yajurveda is having some kind of advanced culture. When you compare the cultural excellence between the two Samhitas, Taittiriya and Madhyandina or Kanva Samhitas, which I have done, I made a comparison of the UGC project between Taittiriya Samhita and Shukla Yajurveda Samhita. That was my project which I undertook after my PhD, and worked for 2 years and submitted and they gave me some money and all that. That was my past life. But anyway, ಯಾವಾಗ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವೋ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲೇಟರ್ ಆನ್ ಬಂದಿರೋ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಫೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ರೋಡು ಸಮ್ 10 years ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ಫ್ರೀಲಿ ವೆನ್ ದೆ ಪುಟ್ 80 miles ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ 80 miles ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್. ದಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಬಟ್ ಕಾರ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. So this is Shukla Yajurveda because there are so many people intervening and all that. But earlier, even airport road, in fact, even ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಇವನ್ ಕೋರಮಂಗಲದಿಂದ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಆದಾಗ ಆ ರೋಡು, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಎ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ರೋಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಕುಡ್ ಗೋ ವಿತ್ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್. And in fact, people used to stand at one point and look at the aeroplanes landing and taking off. ಇವಾಗ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗು ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟೇ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ದಿ ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್, and but they are only taken for the improvement and problems also added. And that's why among all civilizations of the world, the Vedic civilization alone is constant, and Vedic wisdom alone constant. ಅದರಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ನ್ಯಾಯಂ ಪ್ರತಿಯೋನ್ಯಾದ್ ದ್ರವತಿ, ನೋಡಿದ್ರ ಪ್ರತಿಯೋನಿದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಪುಣ್ಯ ಪಾಪಾಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಬರ್ತ್. ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಪಾಪ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿದ್ರೆ ಅಪಾನಿ ಅಪಾದಕೆ ಶಾಸಃ. People are born without leg or with a problem in the leg, problem in the hand, problem in the hair. See, especially in America, some babies are born without hair in the head. And in India, that's why when Indian babies are delivered by the Americans, oh, so much hair in the baby. ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ. ಹಂಗೆ we don't know ದ್ರವತಿ ಬುದ್ಧಾಂತ್ಯ ತತ್ರ ಕಿಂಚಿತ್ ಪಶ್ಯತಿ ಅಸಂಗೋ ಹೈ ಅಯಂ ಪುರುಷಃ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನ್. ಅಯಂ ಪುರುಷಃ ಅಸಂಗಃ. ಸಂಗ ಅಂದರೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್, ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಸಂಗನಾದರೆ ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇವು ಲುಕ್ ಅಸಂಗೋ ಹ್ಯಯಂ ಪುರುಷ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಶಂಕರಾಚಾರ್ಯ ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಭಜಗೋವಿಂದ ಸ್ತೋತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ನಿಸ್ಸಂಗತ್ವೇ ನಿರ್ಮೋಹತ್ವಂ, ಸತ್ಸಂಗತ್ವೇ ನಿಸ್ಸಂಗತ್ವಂ, ನಿಸ್ಸಂಗತ್ವೇ ನಿರ್ಮೋಹತ್ವಂ, ನಿರ್ಮೋಹತ್ವೇ ನಿಶ್ಚಲತತ್ವಂ, ನಿಶ್ಚಲತತ್ವಾತ್ ಜೀವನ್ ಮುಕ್ತಿ. ಗೊತ್ತಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೋವಿಂದರಾಜವರೇ? ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಭಜ ಗೋವಿಂದಂ ಭಜ ಗೋವಿಂದಂ ಭಜ ಗೋವಿಂದಂ ಮೂಢಮತೆ ಸಂಪ್ರಾಪ್ತೆ ಸನ್ನಿಹಿತೆ ಕಾಲೇ ನಹಿ ನಹಿ ರಕ್ಷದಿಡು ಗುರುಂಗರಣೆ. So, in fact, our Anjaneya Prasad has made a Bhajagovinda Stotra to the drum beats and attracted all over people. In his Param band, first experiment to drums in the Madi. There are so many people appreciating the Bhajagovinda Stotram, which is, but they don't know the language and all that, but they know the drum beats and all that has been music attributed to that. Anyway, so asango hyayam purushaha iti evameva vetad yajnavalkya. Are Yajnavalkya Maharshi, this is aham. And sahasram dadami urdhvam vimoksha yaiva bruhiti. So vimoksha ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹೆಂಗಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರೆ, now here you see the jiva, how he is settling. A fish in the water, a falcon in the air. See, for a fish in the water river, the banks are limited. All rivers will have that bank, and so the fish will be moving from bank to bank, and that's a kind of enjoyment for a fish. But a falcon, a garuda in the sky, the sky has no limits. So there is no measurement for sky at all. Can you measure the sky? No. So gaganam gaganakaram. Sagaraha sagaraham, no comparison at all. Therefore, as long as it is not tired, the falcon will fly in the sky, and with the tired limbs and wings, it will come back to settle down in the nest. That nest is the Parabrahma. And moving in the sky, as long as the strength in the wings stay on, is the janmas. So ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ್ಮಗಳು ಎತ್ತಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೇನು ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಜನ್ಮ ರಾಹಿತ್ಯ. So that's why we always say that janma jara tapta jana visrantidayinyai Om Aim Hreem Sreem Lalitambikayi Namaha. Today is a Friday, we remember her. So ಆ ತಾಯಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಜನ್ಮ ಜರ ಮೃತ್ಯು ತಪ್ತಾಸ್. So those all people are tapta, tormented, tortured with the incidents of birth, with the incidents of the old age, and with the incidents of the death. ಈ ಮೂರಿಂದ ತಪ್ತರಾಗಿರೋರಿಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆ ತಾಯಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ? ವಿಶ್ರಾಂತಿದಾಯಿನ್ಯೈ ಲಲಿತಾಂಬಿಕಾಯೈ ನಮಃ. ವಿಶ್ರಾಂತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾಳೆ. She will give retirement. What retirement our bosses in the offices and government will give is temporary. ಆಫೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಟೈರ್ ಆಗಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ರಿಟೈರ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಹೌಸ್. ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಡಾಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್, ಅಪ್ಪ ತಾತ ನನಗೊಂದು ನೀರು ಕೊಡು, ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ಕೊಡು ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ರೆಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಆನ್ ಜಾಬ್. ಅದರಿಂದ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ವಿಮೋಕ್ಷಾಯ ಬ್ರೂಹಿ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನೇ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ಸ್ Janaka Maharaja will say, Yenagatte, Swapnantam Buddhantam. What would happen when you are able to overcome the end of the Swapna, when you are able to overcome the awareness or wakefulness or the consciousness, what would happen to us? Avaga, he is giving the example, as I told you earlier, Yatha tad yatha asmin akase siyanova supernova विपरीपत्यस्रान्तः सगुंहत्य पक्षौ संलयायैव ध्रियत एवमेवायं पुरुषः एतस्मा अन्ताय धावति यत्र सुप्तो न कञ्चन कामं कामयते न कञ्चन स्वप्नं पश्यति. ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬರಬಲ್ಲ. So when once the bird is so tired and all that, when he comes back to his nida or this nest, it will fall asleep, no janma at all for it. It will never remember anything. It is completely. So, Yajnavalkya Maharshi is able to read the mind of the falcon. And also, he is able to read and experience of the fish in the water. And that exactly is the Parabuddhi, Parashakti, Parambika. ಈ ಪರಾಬುದ್ಧಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಂದರೆ ಸೂಪರ್ ಕಾನ್ಷಿಯಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದು ಕಾನ್ಷಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೈಯರ್ ಕಾನ್ಷಿಯಸ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಮೈ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಒಬ್ಬರು ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಅಂತ, ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಎ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟರಿ. ಐ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು. ಹಿ ಮೇಡ್ ಫ್ರಾಂಟಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್. ಸೊ when once a person tries to elevate himself to the higher frontiers of knowledge and consciousness, what would be the kind of knowledge and experience that particular jiva is able to get on is being beautifully documented. But when the jiva goes into the seventh frontier of knowledge, then he will be able to listen to the sounds of the Maharashas. Something like the NASA people were able to record the sound made by the sun when he is moving in the sky. Hum, om, are the two kinds of sounds that are recorded by the NASA people, which sounds cannot be heard by the human ear. Or so, human ear capacity are limited, and you have got extra ears and extra eyes and extra. That's all science advancement. So, hange illi kuda suparnaha viparipatya srantaha kanchana swapnam pasyati. So I think I'll stop here. In the next session, we'll be able to note down the practical examples given by our Maharshis in the Upanishads are real eye-openers. We'll be able to understand all this. Om Swasti.
Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Hariye Paramatmane Pranata Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Krishnaya Yadavendraya Dhanamudraya Yogine